Alright, now this is going to be a kind of off-the-cuff, unedited video. How'd you like that new beginning? Still working on it. It's got a few little tweaks that need to be made. But anyway, here is the new Fallout 4 DLC, Wasteland Workshop. It's the first 10, 12 minutes or so, if you can count it as that. Again, this is very off-the-cuff, unedited footage. I'm going through some of the menus, looking for some of the new items that are included. And so one thing about the Wasteland Workshop is that there's not a real tutorial when you first start it up. You're not going to get a new quest marker. You will see it on your add-ons. And again, like the automatron, if you had Fallout open before downloading it, make sure to exit out of Fallout, start a new game, and then load up Fallout again. And if that doesn't work, be sure to reboot your Xbox, and then you should see the Wasteland Workshop in your downloads. Now here's one of the things I was really excited about is the new power fusion. It has 100 power, and as you know, with the other power power generators in the game, they don't put out a lot of power. But with the fusion generator here, you won't need to supply it with cores. And like I said, since it puts out 100 power, you can power a lot of things with it. Instead of, if you're anything like me, have windmills and large generators all over the place. Now, as you see, I'm just kind of going through the menus. We'll come to some of the cages in a bit. Structures, concrete. Concrete is really, really nice. To try and trim things up a little bit, instead of everything kind of looking like it's falling apart, which kind of weird in a post-apocalyptic world, I know. So, I decided to set up a wall because I wanted to test out the neon. Excuse me, I'm kind of losing my voice. And the neon's pretty neat. You find it under the power section here. There's different colors, and you can make your own words. If you've seen the trailer, you know you can spell out your own things. So here, I'm just gonna mess with it. It takes a little bit of getting used to. You probably won't want to be making a lot of messages because you do have to scroll through and it's not very quick. Now, one thing I didn't notice at first was that the letters do snap together. So I'm just going to put a welcome up here. And then if you're like me and you forget to actually move the letter, it's kind of a pain to grab it and go back. Now, I downloaded this right at midnight, so I'm a little bit tired. And so some mistakes were to be made. So I'm just going to spell out welcome here. And let's go ahead and fix that W. And now that we got the power conduit, you can see it lights up. But let's fix that W. Let's just snap it over. Now, I went to Spectacle Island because I figured I would have a nice open space where I wouldn't be bothered by settlers. But I didn't really have a good supply line run to this, so I'll go back to Sanctuary where I can experiment a little bit more. Now Now, as I said, there's no real tutorial. You kind of have to dig through and find what's been included. And that is pretty much what I'm doing, debating what I want to try and build next and where I'm going to put it. And it's a matter of finding things in the menus. Probably should have trimmed this up a little bit. Didn't have a lot of time to trim the video here. And as you see, I'm just kind of going through, see if what has been added. Because so far I've only come upon one type of dialogue box, which I'll come to in a minute. You can set up some crates here. The cases. I don't recall if these were in there earlier. I don't think they were. And one thing I want to point out, make sure you have a lot of steel. It's going to be rough, especially after coming off the heels of the Automatron DLC. If you're anything like me, you built a lot of robots. So you're going to end up needing a lot of steel, as you can see here. So you might want to set out some iBots looking for it. I haven't built one of the beta wave emitters yet. You're going to need those for the cages. We'll come to that. Now with the cages, you will also need various meats. Oh, and here's where you can make the arena, the team bases, I guess you would say, when you set up arena matches. And there's one for a red team, one for a blue team. Now, I normally have a lot of supplies, a lot of provisions to build things. And I wasn't prepared for the steel, I'll be honest. But you will need a lot, as you can see here. And that's another thing about going through this. You can see the requirements that are already on the screen when they come up. Various animals. And most of the Ragstag and Mirelurk, I either dump those or cook them up. Not sure, I thought there might be something new in the water, and again, you have to kind of go through the menus to see what has been added. And nothing in the special. At least Cages does have its own little thing. I was going to scrap it, but decided just to put it right back into the inventory. And again, forgive me, it was after midnight when I downloaded this, and I was a little tired. So some of the things don't make a lot of sense. But thankfully, this is a very small download. It's only about 94 megs. There's no quests, at least none that I could find. And if I recall, there's only like 3 new achievements. Here I am. I'm over at Sanctuary. I have built a... I believe this was a raider cage. It was one of the few things I could build. You don't need any type of... meat for that. And when you build your first cage, you will get a message that pops up saying that you there's a chance that a creature will spawn inside of it if you leave, or if you leave or if you take a nap. But it does have to be powered. And so, not sure what I was doing there. So you have to attach it to a power, and the creature, or in this case it's a raider cage, will be released when you turn off the power. So it's a good idea if you connect it to a power, put a switch in the way of the wire. That way you can turn it off a little bit easier rather than turn off via the generator. Especially if you happen to be using a fusion generator, if you're going to set up some type of cage match. That way each cage can have its own power switch. Now here I am, I'm just going to set my character to sleep for a while. I really meant to edit this out, so my apologies. This video is a little bit on the long side as it is. Yeah, I really should have edited this out. But as I said, this is off the cuff. I'm unprepared. I didn't write out a script like I normally do. So I want to kind of get this out there as quickly as possible so you can see and be aware of some of the things that are not really listed, not really too clear in the DLC. There's a lot of tools there. And you see with the cages, the lighting. But it's going to take some time to get used to them, to build stuff. And for no reason, here's Curry just kind of phased into the wall. So yeah, you'll want to build concrete walls if you're going to make fighting pits. And if you're going to have cages, probably a good idea to have a fusion generator with switches in line with the cables running in series to each of the cages. That way you can turn them off as you needed. And here I am just kind of going through some of the menus again. Now I know there's going to be a lot of cool stuff that are going to be able to be made with this DLC. And this video, like I said, just downloaded the Wasteland Workshop and just kind of wanted to give an idea of what's in store for you when you download it. It's not really hand-holdy. Like I said, I only had one pop-up message come up when I put up the first cage there, the raider cage, whatever it is, that's right there. So you're going to be experimenting a lot on your own.